go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to West Snail Virus. What a way to start the show. We are on YouTube.
Pull up ESPN.
We're on YouTube, former Twitter, known as X, Caleb_Go Dogs. I'm your host, Caleb Nail. Joining me, the guy on the phone, Josiah W_WNV. Josiah West, how has the past few days been? We had a crazy baseball game we're going to get to because the World Series is set. We had some college football games last night. Anything exciting for you over these past couple days?
Well, I mean, seeing the Phillies lose was disheartening, really, as a Braves fan, given that they beat us. But those guys were raking until they lost that last game. So
yeah, the last two games were bad. We'll talk about it.
Really, the only thing that I personally felt anything about, the Liberty game. It's kind of boring. New Mexico State versus La Tech.
Big comeback.
Always going to be boring.
That was crazy.
But
hey, I thought the comeback was great by New Mexico State, and the La Tech jerseys were cool. But we're going to get to all of that and more. We have our Yeovil Town update. We can't miss. We had the start of the NBA season was yesterday. It's primetime college football and primetime sports as well. We had NFL, college football, playoff baseball, start of the NBA season. Look, everything's going on right now. Champions League, soccer is going on right now. A lot of fun stuff. We are going to talk about not all of it, but a lot of it right now. First things first, I got to talk about Michigan, Josiah. Michigan needs to leave the NCAA. With the attacks that Harbaugh and the Michigan football program are taking, it's time to get out. And you may be thinking, Josiah, you, the listener, may be thinking this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You're probably right. I am an idiot. But I think I know what I'm talking about. Michigan should just become a club team. And this is how a team could do it. Take that football team, separate from the NCAA, become a club team. So that means you're not getting money from the school. You're going to have to go raise money, but it's the big house. You have one of the largest stadiums in college football. One, the school needs you to make money. Two, you're going to be just fine with ticket sales and things like that. Maybe this school keeps that, but they're going to have to pay you. Maybe you got to pay a little bit of rent to play there, but you're going to make a ton of money. Donors are going to give you money, that club money. And then you don't have to play by the rules for the NCAA. Now, I don't know what those rules are when it comes to club sports, but what I do know is that you probably won't have to play by the rules when it comes to recruiting. And that's what they need to avoid. And, we know that they paid a staffer to go watch games and try and steal signs. Honestly, I don't care about that. We talked about it last episode, Josiah. And that is, if you're having signs stolen, that's on you. That's bad. And the fact that they paid someone to go steal signs, now everyone should do that. It got them there. You should study.
Right.
That's a lot of work.
Well, and I'll say this. I mean, there's film you can watch and things like that. I still don't completely understand how they gathered signs that was against the rules. Like, I guess someone being at the game is against the rules to get be at another game.
No,
but at someone else's game. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. Especially right, especially since you can watch film and stuff. I don't know what the difference is. I mean, unless
none.
Unless there's a rule against recording the signs, just recording the signs specifically. But then
they're on TV.
Then admittedly, it's just on Michigan, because how are you getting caught doing that? I mean, that seems super easy to hide, but yeah, I don't know. It's very weird.
But that's not my main point. My main point is, because all these things are happening, it looks as though there's a targeted effort on Jim Harbaugh, or towards Jim Harbaugh, to get him out, which he's probably going to be the next Steve Carroll, where he at the USC coach, that's now the Seahawks coach, where he leaves, they find all this stuff. They give Michigan the consequences, and then Michigan goes downhill after Harbaugh leaves, and he goes and wins a bunch of games in the NFL. That's not what should happen. Michigan, the football program, specifically the football program, should separate from the NCAA so that they don't have to get hit by all these sanctions. And I think that's going to be the future of, quote, college athletics. They're not going to want to be pinned down by the NCAA. They're going to want to do their own thing. They're going to start their own league. Now, there's a lot that goes into that, but I think that's the best case scenario for these college football programs. Now, women's teams and other sports need the school and they need the football, so they may have to follow, but we'll see. It's going to be very interesting. Leave a comment down below what you think needs to happen with Michigan, the football program in particular. Should they just confess everything, pay the penalty?
I will say this.
Go ahead.
I will say this in support of your theory that Michigan needs to leave. I do think, and I have thought for a while, that the eventual something that's going to happen eventually in college football. I can't think of the word I was looking for, but something that's going to happen eventually is college football teams are going to move away from the NCAA. Eventually. I don't know if that's right now. And I don't know if it would be a good idea for Michigan to say, okay, we are going to do this. Everyone else follow us. You need to get a few different teams who are like, oh, man, NCAA really sucks, guys. Like, all right, Michigan, all right, Georgia, all right, Alabama. Like, you need a few big schools, Ohio State, whoever, to be like, oh, yeah, no, we're done with them. And then those few guys just go like, all right, we're leaving the NCAA. We're going to create our own league with our own rules, whatever. And, you guys can follow us if you want. You can have a say if you follow us, whatever. Yeah. But we're done with NCAA. I think that eventually will happen. I think it needs to happen eventually. NCAA is ridiculous, but
it's going to happen, and it's going to happen when these teams' hands are forced, like what's happening with Michigan right now. And the problem is that they have the backing of the schools to stay in the NCAA, with all these administrators and things like that, and you have boosters and all these different things. But I think it's in the best interest of football programs in general, and specifically ones that are in trouble, to separate from the NCAA. I think that's where Michigan is. I think that would be the next best move, the next right thing to do for Michigan. But we will see. If you disagree with that, let us know. Next topic of conversation for college football is USC. We've talked about USC a couple times just in the past week or so. But I don't believe it means anything now if you beat USC. Like, they play Cal, for example, this weekend. If Cal beats USC, it's going to be the expected narrative. It's going to be 41-40. The defense is terrible. Caleb Williams played well. He did as much as he can, but there wasn't enough help. Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch can't figure out the defense. And for that reason, doesn't mean anything for USC. And I will say, last thing on this, Josiah, and I'll let you respond, is the Pac-12 is always going to cannibalize itself. We talked about it early on. But the fact that USC is the one getting cannibalized and Washington and Oregon are still look very good, even though they beat up on each other. And you still have Utah, but Utah's going to get smoked by Oregon this weekend, though, by the way. They're going to cannibalize each other. So now the wins over Pac-12 teams mean less, even though I still believe this is probably the best conference top to bottom in the nation right now. But back to USC in general, it doesn't mean anything to beat USC. Their defense is just that abysmal. What do you think?
I will say this. I do agree that their defense really hurts the quality of the win, right? I mean, the only real team that they've beaten, maybe I guess you could say they've beaten two teams kind of in Colorado and Arizona. And those were
Yeah,
both
those are the two
super
biggest
close
wins.
games. And Colorado is a very similar sort of team where they have a high-flying offense with a pretty trash defense. And then they lost the only two really good teams that they've played against. I think that they'll beat Cal this weekend, but Washington, Oregon, UCLA isn't looking good for them.
But the quality of
USC
the
needs to figure out their defense. I think that it's something that when you say the Pac-12 is always going to cannibalize itself, this is the sort of team that usually ends up cannibalizing the Pac-12 because usually you have a bunch of really good offenses and bad defenses. And so they just start scoring points like crazy on each other. Or one QB makes a mistake or one defense makes a stop or whatever. And then that's the whole difference in the game. And it's like, well, it's kind of a crapshoot. But this year, I think it's a better situation because I think that Washington and Oregon are both pretty good teams. I think UCLA is also pretty good and Utah's pretty good.
but
But Washington and
Josiah,
Oregon are both very good, including good defenses.
Oregon and Washington, them beating USC, it's not going to mean the same thing as it would have earlier in the season. And this is what's going to hurt those teams.
I agree that it won't mean the same thing that it did earlier in the season, but I still think it means something. I still think it means something because it's still a team with a really good offense. You still have to stop that offense because in the end, it doesn't matter, how good your offense is. If they just keep scoring every single time, then you can't pull ahead. So your defense,
ball.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, they're Washington and Oregon. Their defense has to step up against USC, and then it will look like a solid win. I think the amount that they win by will be big for them. If they can win by like a lot, that'd be huge. But
Yeah,
you
if
are
you can
right. It will
win,
not mean as much as it would have earlier in the season, and that's really unfortunate.
I think for the USC win to mean something for these next teams, you have to hold this USC team under 21 points. Honestly, I think for it to mean anything. Otherwise, it's just the typical narrative. USC is going to score a bunch of points. You're going to score a bunch of points, and you're going to stop USC one more time because you're not going to make any mistakes against this USC defense. Heck, Utah made a mistake against USC, throwing a pick six, and they still won. So, take it as you will. That's my thought on USC. All right, last night, Liberty, we talked about it, played Western Kentucky. They clinched a spot in the Conference USA Championship with the win over Western Kentucky. We talked about this last week, that this was going to be the game on Liberty's schedule that could be a loss, best chance for a loss. That didn't happen. Yep. I watched this. Liberty dominated them. Western Kentucky didn't decide to show up until they were down by too much. And they confused the heck out of the Liberty defense with their offense. Now, I don't know if they had subs in or not. I'm not too familiar with the defensive players on Liberty, but they had guys running wide open. Western Kentucky did, but it was too late. But Salter, the quarterback for Liberty, and their running game, they do a little spread option, a triple option type of thing out of shotgun, and they run for crazy amount of yards. They have two very good running backs, and Salter, I believe, at one point had 12 rushes for over 100 yards. He had over 100 yards rushing. Looked good. He's not that good throwing the ball, though, so you got to force him into those situations. People now have film on them, but they still can't stop him. You got to stop him. Can't somebody do it? I think Western Kentucky has a shot if they make Conference USA Championship to stop them, but that's not my question. The question is, does this win change your mind about them getting into a New Year's Six bowl game, Josiah? Because it's looking like Liberty's going to be undefeated.
Look, they should at this point end up undefeated. The highest percent chance they have to lose is a 14.6% chance, and that's against UTEP. They're not going to lose to UTEP.
UTEP
that's
is an underdog. UTEP is an underdog to Sam Houston tonight.
Yeah, they don't play a good team. They do not play a good team. They're going undefeated. It's inevitable at this point. If they don't, I cannot be blamed for getting this wrong. It is completely on them. But Yes, I still think they're making the New Year's Six Bowl. I don't think it changes my opinion because you have to put an undefeated team in a New Year's Six Bowl. You just have to. I mean, even UCF, their national championship year. I think they beat Auburn that year or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
In a bowl game, but yeah, it was. You have to put either if they're undefeated, they either go to the playoff or a New Year's Six Bowl. That's how it's going to work. Will Liberty get destroyed in a New Year's Six Bowl? It's not impossible. I mean, they're probably going to be playing like Texas or Ohio State or something.
Or
So
the second place Pac-12 team.
yeah, or Oregon or something like that. Yeah, it's likely going to be a slaughter, but yes, they're still making a New Year's Six Bowl. Conference USA is the worst conference in college football.
I'm going to disagree with you here. I don't think that they make a New Year's Six Bowl. If Air Force goes undefeated, they're not making a New Year's Six Bowl. Now, if Air Force or Wyoming continue their ways and win out and finish as, would they win the Mountain West, or even a Fresno State, my Bulldogs, they went out. Let's just say a one-loss Tulane team or the winner of the American Conference. Even the winner of the Sun Belt, I think all three conference winners are better than Liberty. I do. And I think that a bowl game would rather have those teams than Liberty. There's just bigger fan bases. If you watched the Western Kentucky Liberty game last night, it was at Western Kentucky. There was no one there. No one.
I will say Air Force against Liberty would actually be an interesting game. Air Force against Liberty, I think, would actually be an interesting game.
They're not going to take two G5 schools, though, for a New Year's Six Bowl game. They won't. They would rather take a Texas or a second place Pac-12 team, Big 12 team, Big 10 team. They would rather do that.
I mean, yeah, you are right. We still have there's still Notre Dame to consider, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Penn State. That's assuming Michigan wins that conference. Oklahoma,
right. There's
Texas,
so many. You got your second place
Louisville,
SEC,
North Carolina,
Georgia, or Bama. I mean, or
Tulane,
LSU.
Bama.
Exactly. There's
LSU.
So many schools. I don't think an undefeated Liberty Conference USA champion gets in just because they don't have the strength of schedule. They're not blowing out every team. I don't think they get in, which is unfortunate.
I mean, I'll tell you this: Liberty at 7-0, since this past week, did not end up in the top 25. They're not ranked. They're 7-0, and they are not ranked.
They might be after this win over Western Kentucky. I believe they might be. We failed to mention James Madison is still undefeated. I bet you they appeal this to the NCAA, this waiting period, and get in because the bowl games would rather have JMU rather than Liberty.
We would all like to see James Madison play in a bowl game.
100%.
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, but my point before was that there are about 10 two-loss teams that are ranked, and they don't think Liberty's better than any of them right now. So I don't disagree, but it is the AP, so like take it with a grain of salt.
The problem is how the playoff is set up is that you're going to have an undefeated Division I football team that's not able to compete for a national championship. That's the biggest problem with everything. And the biggest
it's going to play next year.
The playoffs change next year, but even then, it would be hard to put Liberty as the top G5 conference champ in that 12 team because Air Force, even if Air Force loses one game, Air Force is still obviously the better team. Tulane, JMU, all those schools are all clearly better teams than Liberty. Even with one loss, I think a Wyoming right now is better at 2 losses. And you have to take every conference champion. If you're going to consider them Division I, you have to take every conference champion to compete for a national championship. That's the only way. Or don't call them Division I anymore.
I don't disagree with that. there's no reason to have a conference champion. It means nothing. There's
Right.
no reason to try for your conference championship if it means nothing. For Liberty, it's literally going to mean nothing. They're going to go undefeated, win their conference championship, and it won't mean anything. Now, obviously, the playoff doesn't change till next year, but they're likely not going to just have every conference champion. They're likely going to have the Power 5 champions, and then, the best Group of 5 champion, and then whoever after that. So the next 6 teams. Liberty wouldn't be in that this year.
No.
They wouldn't be in there. As you said, Air Force would be better than them, and there's probably a few others that would be.
Tulane, so no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, and I think the problem is it needs to be the conference champions, and then I think what would be the next best one, or something like that.
Yeah, take the next best 2, then it'll get you to 12 teams.
Yeah.
We could save this topic of playoff for another day, but New Year's 6 bowl game for Liberty, I don't think either of. I mean, you think yes, I think no, but we'll see what happens. Last but not least, Army. Some news early this morning. Army is joining the American Conference in football only in 2024. I think that's good for the American. Navy's there, so that's good. They'll get to play Navy. Hopefully, they can keep their Air Force game. I'm sure they will. I feel bad for the American. They're getting another triple option team. That's never fun to prep. All right, let's talk about our upsets for this weekend. Not an upset for me. I'm not picking this. Actually, I am going to pick this. Tonight, UTEP over Sam Houston. Sam Houston is looking for their first win. They are actually favored in this game, but I'm going to take UTEP over Sam Houston. You can take this either way you want. Against the line, Josiah, you could do this ranking wise. Even though a lower ranked team can be favored, it's still considered an upset. So you could take this either way. I'm taking UTEP over Sam Houston, and then my next pick is I'm going to take Houston over Kansas State. They play Saturday. Kansas State is a 17.5-point favorite. Houston had a pretty good game last week. I'm going to take Houston definitely to cover the 17.5. Kansas State is a good team. I understand. Solid defense, good quarterback, and Will Howard. But Houston can throw the ball all over the field. I'm going to take Houston over K-State this week.
All right. I'm not. I'm not
No,
going to take that one, but mine are Arizona over Oregon State. I think it's a really good game. I think Arizona and Oregon State are both good teams. Arizona's played, a lot of good teams already. They played Washington, they played USC, they played Washington State. They beat Washington State. They demolished Washington State. They lost to USC and Washington and to Mississippi State, but those were all very close games. I think Arizona is a very good team. I think Oregon State is also a very good team, as I said, but I think Arizona has what it takes to pull off the upset. They are Oregon State's a 3-point favorite. I'm sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear my dog right now. He's being
Sure can.
Annoying.
You have an inside dog?
Dude, yeah, I got 2 dogs, and they're both inside.
That's terrifying. I'm not an inside dog guy.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it. They're great. But
all right.
But next one is Wyoming over Boise State. Boise State's a 5-point favorite, and look, this one's an easy one to take just because Boise State isn't that good.
No. Taylor needs to figure it out. I mean, they could be good if they could, but because they run the ball. But has no one watched Wyoming's defense? Oh my goodness. Wyoming's defense is so good. They're going to beat Boise by 10 points easily.
They should. Honestly, they should. Wyoming's a good team. I don't think Boise State's a good team. I think Wyoming honestly should win this, and they should be the favorite. But
my next game is West Virginia over UCF. UCF is a 6.5-point favorite. They played a good game against Oklahoma. I think they're worn out, beat up, and West Virginia is a good team. I'm taking West Virginia over UCF this week.
All right. This is my longest sort of reach on this one. But Georgia Tech over number 17 North Carolina, who's an 11.5-point favorite. And look, I know it is a reach, but it is not impossible, guys. Georgia Tech, they have been playing competitive this year. They've been playing better than they usually do. Yeah. And
Good. Looks good.
North Carolina is not the juggernaut everybody thought they were. I'm just saying, Georgia Tech's got a shot this week. I'm excited to improve the quality of the Georgia Tech win for Georgia. So I'm hoping for it. But no, all jokes aside, Georgia Tech actually has a shot. They're an okay team this year, and I think Georgia needs to be careful this year. And it's upset alert for any team they play.
I'm staying in the ACC, and I'm taking Duke over Louisville. Louisville is a 4-point favorite right now. Riley Leonard didn't finish their last game. They had a shot at winning it with him in. They decided to take him out, keep him healthy. I thought that was it's not the best move competitively if you want to win, but if you want to keep him healthy for the rest of the season, come out and get some rest, win the rest of these games, it's a good move. If Riley Leonard plays against Louisville, they will win. Duke has a good enough defense, a very good offense when Riley Leonard is in. They could easily beat Louisville. Now, if the Louisville team that shows up that beat Notre Dame, that offense shows up, there could be some trouble looming. But I'm taking Duke over Louisville minus 4. Do you have any more, Josiah?
Right. I do not. That was a good one, though. I like the Duke Louisville.
I got a couple more. I'm going to finish with, I got 3 more. New Mexico over Nevada. Nevada's a 1-point favorite. New Mexico's quarterback, Hopkins, I think he's a transfer from UAB. He throws the ball over the field. I like he's smart with the ball. I got to watch Nevada play. They're decent. Let me say this. They're underrated, an underrated 1-win team, but New Mexico should win this game. Then I'm taking Coastal Carolina over Marshall. Marshall's -4. Grayson McCall is still a good quarterback. They haven't lived up to the hype that was put on them at the beginning of this year because they had a great season last year. But this Coastal team is still good. And outside of Marshall's running game, I mean, they use their running game to set up their passing game, and I think Coastal can stop it. Coastal's defense has struggled, but I think Grayson McCall is good enough to keep them in this game. And last but not least, a great game in the Big Ten once again. I'm taking Minnesota over Michigan State. Michigan State, 7-point favorite over Minnesota. We saw Minnesota's defense is able to play with a lot of teams this year. Yes, their offense is very much like Iowa's and not very good. But Michigan State, go ahead.
They got a huge break against what team was it? Iowa.
Yes.
Yeah, huge break against them. And by the way, PJ Fleck, not a great look going up on stage and saying, "No, I don't know why they're complaining. I don't. They're stupid for complaining. That's the rules." No, it's not the rules. He didn't call fair catch. He had both his hands out. One of them was waving a little bit. That's not a fair catch. That's not a fair catch.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna take them again. I'm gonna take them again. Michigan State is not a good team. I'm taking Minnesota over Michigan State.
I'm happy with that. That's a good one.
All right. Sure. Leave your comments down below about who your upsets are going to be. I'd like to see what you guys are thinking. All right, let's move on to the NFL. So we got to catch up. We have Thursday night football tonight. We have Monday night football. 49ers lost to the Vikings. Really quick, Josiah. Is there anyone in the UFC that you think in the NFC that can beat the 49ers now? Because are they the best team in the NFC now? Still.
Are the 49ers the best team in the NFC? That's a good question. I think that the best shot right now is gonna have to be the Philadelphia Eagles over in the NFC East.
I think most people will say that.
I don't. Yeah, Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, obviously the Vikings picked up the win, which you called, by the way. Big
I
on
did.
you. It was a good call because Vikings are a good team. We talked about that. But no, I do think that the 49ers still have a shot of being the best team in the NFC. I think the Eagles are there competing with them. And I guess the Vikings might want to throw their hat in the ring.
Well, let me put it this way. When I was talking about this game, I said the Vikings would win this game because their offense, they throw the ball over the field. They can't run the ball. But the 49ers' weakness is pass defense. And even though Justin Jefferson is out, we still know Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback. I know everybody was talking. The narrative was Kirk Cousins is subpar, but he's a good quarterback. And now the narrative has all of a sudden changed. Oh, he's boosted his stock, his value. Yes, he has.
Right.
But well, let's jump on the bandwagon now, guys. We all know he's a very competent quarterback. He throws the ball over the field. Jordan Anderson is a very good route runner, can get open. We saw that. Thank you, Jordan Anderson. I won my fantasy football game because of you.
Now, I have a question for you.
Struggle. Sorry, go. Let me finish this point, and then let me hit me with that.
Go for it. Go for it.
49ers, I think, are going to struggle in the NFC against teams that are competent throwing the ball. I think they match up well against the Eagles. That's why I won't say the Eagles are the 49ers' best competition in the NFC. I think they are probably the better team, but matchup, like complete, they're the more complete team, but matchup wise, the 49ers match up well against them because I think the D line is going to cause a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts isn't going to be able to throw the ball over the field. So if it works out in playoffs that way, where the 49ers can avoid teams like the Vikings or any other NFC team that can throw the ball over the field, they're going to be just fine. But matchup-wise, 49ers, if you run into a Kirk Cousins passing offense, you're in trouble. Sorry, just go ahead.
No, my question was actually just that. Do you think the 49ers are in trouble now? They've lost 2 games in a row. They definitely are a good team, but are they maybe not as good as everyone thought they were? Did they maybe have, a really good run of success, but it was kind of a fluke? Like, are you worried about the 49ers moving forward?
I would be. I would be worried about their defense. Let's put it that way. I think
Gotcha.
you double Nick Bosa and force them to pass the ball. Sorry, you double Nick Bosa and you throw the ball. Sorry, and you beat them.
Got it. Yeah.
That's what has happened. So the 49ers need to figure out how to force teams to run the ball on them to slow teams down because really a passing team with a smart quarterback is going to torch them. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, see how the 49ers adjust. But with these 2 losses, the defense is not looking good. The defense has been exposed. And offensively, though, I still think they're good. Shanahan has them in a good place. Brock Purdy had them in position to win again, but he didn't. But he's there. So if Brock Purdy, the other thing is if Brock Purdy can take the next step to, like I would say, elite quarterback, then they can win these games because he had them in position to win. They missed the field goal in the last game against the Browns. He had the ball, and they had the opportunity to go down the field and score and win this game. Wasn't able to do it. So you put all those things together, this team is still very good. But matchup-wise, they just don't match up well against good passing offense. So let's move on to Thursday night game. Thursday night, tomorrow night, we have the Bills versus Buccaneers. I'm very interested in this game because we've talked about Josh Allen and the Bills last week, past couple weeks. They've also lost 2 games in a row. Josh Allen has been inconsistent. We've talked about it. You still are very confident in Josh Allen. I really like Josh Allen. But I think he takes too many risks and and he's had too much of the team. He tries to put the team on his back too much, which results in him throwing interceptions, making dumb decisions, and then being put in rough spots. Can they bounce back and beat the Buccaneers Thursday night, Josiah? What do you think?
I do think they can. I think the Buccaneers could pose a solid challenge, but I think that they should beat them. Unless Josh Allen throws too many interceptions, and then you're always in trouble when that happens. But the Bucs have beat the Vikings, Bears, and Saints, none of which are super high performing teams. The Vikings are the best win of that, and it was a close game. I think the Buccaneers are solid but not great, and I think the Bills are upper middle class.
Right. I do think the Bills should win this game. They are 8.5-point favorites. It's going to be about 55 degrees in New York, and that could hurt the Buccaneers passing game. They have weapons. I think Baker Mayfield is a competent quarterback, just like Kirk Cousins, who doesn't get enough praise. I know some people may not like that. I know my buddy Coxie, he's not a Baker Mayfield fan, but
I mean, Baker struggled a lot when he first got in the league. He was terrible. But he's been playing well.
He made the playoffs with the Browns. He turned that organization around.
Yeah, but his first year was bad.
Okay. Yeah, you get drafted.
I'm not saying that means anything.
You get drafted to the worst.
His first year was bad.
Of course, it's going to be Of course, it's going to happen. You get drafted to the worst team in football.
Yeah, you're right. It's true. You're right. Absolutely is going to happen. But sometimes there's too many expectations placed on a Heisman winning quarterback who gets drafted first overall, and that's what happened. And he got screwed. And I think he's actually a solid quarterback. I mean, guys, Peyton Manning had the most interceptions in the league his rookie year. So,
yeah. But back to tonight's game, I think based on the weather, the Bills are the team built for this kind of weather. They can run the ball.
That's fair.
I think James Cook has a big game. I think the Buccaneers struggle a little bit. But what I want you to pay attention to is the body language for the Bills. So the Bills, they're on a 2-game losing streak. And we've heard different stories about Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. They've been shot down. Who knows? But if things aren't going well, I'm curious to see how Stephon Diggs' body language is with Josh Allen and how Josh Allen responds. Because you can only say, it's my fault so many times. Either he's going to have to come out and say, look, I got to talk to the O-line because I don't have enough time back there. We got to change up the play calling. I need to target Diggs more, or my wide receivers got to get open. I got to talk to them. You're not going to come out and say that to the media, but you got to meet with the players and say that, because I don't know. You can't do what Josh Allen is doing forever. You can't be taking the blame for the entire team forever. What's the body language going to be like for the Bills if they come out and they're not executing? And then let's see what the body language is like if they're doing well, if they're running the ball well, and moving the ball efficiently against the Buccaneers. I think it's going to be a good game.
And if they come out slow in the first half, halftime adjustments.
Right.
Because that's a sign of a really good team versus just an okay team. Halftime adjustments.
No, it's true. And it starts with Josh Allen and his reads and what he decides to do with the ball. Is he deciding to tuck it and run? Does he slide? Does he dump it off to Kincaid because Dalton Knox is out? So Kincaid's in, very competent tight end.
Right.
Or is he looking Diggs' way like he should be? It's going to be interesting. Buccaneers, not a bad team. So I think it's going to be a good game. Okay. Josiah, we have a World Series. It's here. It's not the one that we predicted. It's not the one I was cheering for, but I'm really excited for this matchup. Diamondbacks shock the world, definitely shock me. Beat the Phillies last night and are going to take on the Rangers. And I want your predictions. First off, did you see the Phillies losing this? I mean, they're up.
No, I didn't. They were playing so well. The Phillies were playing at a level that no one can beat. They were playing so hot. It was insane. I mean, they were hitting homers.
Every other
Every
at bat.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was, I mean, they were playing really, really, really well. Unfortunately, they stopped playing really, really, really well, and the Diamondbacks were able to come in, make a solid appearance, and take advantage of that. I am excited to see the Rangers play the Diamondbacks. I think the Rangers have the upper hand. I don't know what the betting lines look like right now, but that's my prediction is the Rangers have the upper hand. I think the Rangers will win it. I wish the Braves had been here. They aren't. But,
We know. You Braves fans always have to say that you're a Braves fan and that, oh, we should have been here. We're the best team in baseball.
well, I mean,
all my Braves.
Maybe we should have been, but we lost to the really well-performing Phillies, so we aren't.
Yeah, I was
Come on,
shocked.
Phillies, finish it out.
The Phillies were playing well. They're pretty good at the plate. I mean, I think you had the pitching matchup in your favor in these. At least I thought, but the Diamondbacks pitching was unbelievable. The bullpen was great. I mean, their starter, their rookie, I don't even Pafadit. I know that's not his name, but that's what we say around here. Pafadit. I'm a Giants fan. He was good. He went 4 innings, 7 Ks, gave up 2 earned runs, but Diamondbacks came back. They did enough at the plate to win. I don't think I can bet against this Diamondbacks pitching staff. The bullpen was good. Ginkel, stud. If you didn't get to watch his little over an inning that he pitched, go watch it. He's dirty. Thompson was pretty good. He got out of an inning. And Saul Frank, he looked good. This bullpen for the Diamondbacks is going to do some work, and I think what they did to the Phillies, they can easily do to the Rangers. The Rangers are a good hitting team, very good hitting team. But after what the Diamondbacks did to the Phillies, who were the hottest team in baseball, I'm taking the Diamondbacks in 6. And in 6, not 7. I'm taking the Diamondbacks in 6. I think they can do it. Corbin Carroll, he's a good rookie. He's going to steal a base and get us all free tacos. We know that. Gurriel and Perdomo, if they're performing at a high level at the plate, they're going to be just fine. So Diamondbacks in 6 for me. I am excited for this. I think this is Arizona's first World Series since 2001. Good for them. No one saw this coming. And I will say, in all the polls I see, about 85% of people are picking the Rangers to win this. It's exactly where Diamondbacks fans and the Diamondbacks expect, and they expect to see themselves there, and they like it that way. They're going to perform well. I think pitching wins this World Series for the Diamondbacks.
All right.
Last but not least, before we get into our Yeovil Town update, NBA started last night. We had 2 games. Lakers played the Nuggets. Nuggets win, and the Suns beat the Warriors. You have some of the best teams in the West teeing off against each other to start the season off. I always like the start of the NBA season, but it's just like the MLB. I pay attention at the start of the season, and then I give up about 4 games in, and I will just keep updated with the headlines. And so that's what we'll do here. And then in the playoffs, we'll talk more basketball because I like college basketball, to be honest. But I think what's fun about the NBA and the first couple games is they're getting to know each other. They're playing hard. They're full energy. No, most of the time, no injuries. So I want to talk about the Nuggets and the Lakers first, Josiah. Jokic, of course, triple-double. And it's sad to say we're used to triple-doubles. That's amazing. 29 points for Jokic, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. They beat the Lakers. Well, let's talk about the Nuggets. They raised the banner. Do you think the Nuggets can repeat? I think this is their season to lose once again. The Nuggets are so good.
Honestly, I agree. The Nuggets are really, really, really good team. LeBron James only played, 29
minutes, I think.
29 minutes. I read an article saying that it's likely that LeBron will play about 30 minutes every game this season, But you
They're
mentioned
done.
earlier, I don't think LeBron quits after this year. I do not think he's done after this year. Bronny should be in the league next year. And there are rumors. Now, I'm not sure if I'm believing these, but there are rumors that LeBron wants to try and wait around for both Bronny and Bryce, both his sons, to be in the
Nope.
NBA so he can play with both of them. Now,
Nope.
I'm pretty sure that he will wait around for Bronny. I
Nope.
don't know about Bryce. I'm almost 100% sure that he'll be around next year and be on the same team as Bronny if he can do it.
Nope.
But no, yeah, this is really interesting because that's the whole reason that he said, "Oh, I'm sticking around. I'm gonna go play with the Lakers until Bronny can get in the league."
No. He will realize after this year, if it's true and he plays about 30 minutes a game, he's old. The wear and tear on the body is not fun. Right? You may enjoy it. You may love the game of basketball, but once you get to a certain age, look, he doesn't need basketball anymore to make money. He wants to enjoy his kids. So he's close to home. Bronny's staying home at USC. He's going to watch his kids. That's what he wants to do. Would it be fun to play with their kid? Yeah, sure. It's not worth it, though. Who knows where Bronny gets drafted? By the way, Bronny's not good enough to get drafted. So all these people thinking that Bronny's going to come out of college basketball, get out of USC right now, get drafted and play, he's not going to. Maybe that's better for LeBron, so then the Lakers can go get him. But he's not good enough. And
well, look, that does make it better for LeBron. That does make it look better for LeBron.
It's not better for Bronny. And LeBron being a dad is going to have his son's best interest in mind. Bronny needs to get stronger. He needs to develop more of a full basketball game, like skill wise, and because he's not big enough right now. And two, he has, as a businessman, LeBron being a businessman, Bronny has insane potential for NIL. Insane. Stay there, have fun in college, get better. First off, if you want to pursue basketball, get better. Two, go make a bunch of money on your own without dad. I mean, it's my name, but go make a name for yourself at USC, represent business, have fun, do NIL. You're going to have more potential doing that than going and jumping straight to the NBA. And I think they know that. And so that's why I say there's at least 2 or 3 more years of Bronny at USC or in college basketball. And LeBron isn't going to want to miss out once he sees how much fun Bronny's having, if he's being if he's having good games, good seasons. He doesn't want to miss that. He's going to watch that. As a dad, that's what I would want to do. I don't need basketball anymore. I have shoes. I got companies that I bought that I'm running. I don't need any of this. I'm going to enjoy my time with the kids. That's why LeBron won't be around much longer. He won't play with Bronny. That's my whole case for that. When you have a kid, Josiah, you will figure this out.
No, look, I'm telling you right now, he's going to play with Bronny. There's no way. He'll wait 2 years if he has to. I think he'll even wait 3 years if he has to. I think LeBron stays around to play with Bronny, and if he really loves it, he sticks around a little longer. But you know,
how about this?
in terms of Bronny moving up, right? He may not be ready right now, but I mean, LeBron James is a really good basketball player. There's not much better to learn under, and it's his dad. I mean, I'm not saying they don't want him to just stick around, make some NIL money, then move up and make more money, but
he's not.
There's not a much better team to learn.
I don't think he's learning from LeBron because LeBron is busy in the NBA. That's a grueling schedule. And Bronny is going to be traveling the nation playing basketball. There's no time to learn from LeBron unless they're both in LA at the same time, which is not going to be that often. So I don't think he can. You know, it's already passed.
Well, I mean, if he moves up to the to the NBA, then he can work with LeBron and learn from him. So
let me just tell you, working in a family business, it's not fun working under your dad. Like, you have a different relationship. Like, even though your dad is one of the best at what he's doing, I believe my dad is one of the best at what he does. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. I'd rather learn from afar.
I think it might be a little different when your job is playing basketball.
Yes.
I
That's
mean,
true.
I'm just saying.
It's very different because one, you're playing a game, and two, you're actually making money. We're out here losing money doing this. They're actually making millions of dollars.
Yeah, you're losing money and not playing a game. It's not the same. Not quite the same situation.
Whatever you do, don't plant raisins, everyone. Don't make raisins. There's no money in it. I hate to say that, but don't make raisins.
Do it right. Do not do it right.
Don't make raisins, but buy all the raisins you want, especially right now. Please buy raisins. All right, let's move to the other game. We had the Suns beat the Warriors by 4. Devin Booker led all scoring with 32 points. The Suns got rid of Chris Paul, right? He went to the Warriors. And we know, we've talked about this, Josiah. Chris Paul is always the problem. Wherever Chris Paul goes, and some people may argue this, that Chris Paul is the answer to most teams. But in my opinion, James Harden and Chris Paul have a curse on them. They can't win in the postseason. You do not want those players on your team. The Suns get rid of Chris Paul, and all of a sudden, they're a little bit better. I think so. And this game was close until the very end. But the difference is that Devin Booker athletically is better than most players in the West. And Devin Booker will carry this team. And now they are better defensively, I think, than last year. They don't have DeAndre Ayton either, but I think they're better defensively, and it frees up Devin Booker to be Devin Booker. Not to mention the Warriors are older, slower, and I don't think the Warriors are going to be as competitive as they've been in the past. I just don't think that's the case anymore.
I agree. I don't think the Warriors have it in them to win it this year. Maybe I'll be eating my words later. They're still a good team, but I don't think they've got it this year.
If they want to, Klay Thompson has to be the guy. You got to run everything through Klay. He's tough. Yeah, he gets injured, but he's tough. He's good defensively. The problem is with a good defensive player and a shooter is that you play really hard defensively, you get tired way quicker than other guys, than Steph, who's just dribbling around, doesn't really play defense, then just dribbles around, chucks up stuff, and makes it. That's why Steph will always lead in scoring, because he doesn't play defense. But if you can run it through Klay, I think Klay is strong enough to where he can carry this team. And then, Draymond's getting older, but he's still tough and things like that. We'll see what happens with the Warriors. I just don't think they're capable of competing at a high level anymore. They did look good, though, against the Suns. Can't complain. They did look good.
Yep.
All right. Yeovil Town update. So every week, almost every episode, we will have a Yeovil Town update. If you are new to the show, Yeovil Town is a soccer team in the lower English soccer leagues. They're in the National North-South League, which is right below the National League, which is where Wrexham started, if you're familiar with Wrexham. And then after the National League is the Championship League, which is considered pro. Yeovil Town is in first place in the division below the National League called National North-South. They're on a 9-game win streak after they beat Weymouth 2-0. Big win. 9-game win streak. They're in first. I don't see Yeovil Town stopping. They also sent a player out on loan. They sent out Will Buse on a 1-month loan to Bath City. So that means we just sent a player out. Bath City's going to pay his wages for 1 month. He can play for them. And then once that 1 month is up, he comes back to us and we continue paying his wages and he can play for us. It's kind of nice. Sometimes I'm sure small businesses wish they could do that. If they hire too many people, but they like them, send them out on loan to another business, and then you hold on to them for 6 months, and then we'll take them back and then keep going. I don't know, but then you don't have any say. Anyways, I say all that to say Yeovil Town is on fire. By the way, Josiah, did you know this? Yeovil Town set a National League record in attendance with about 6,000 people.
Let's go, Glovers, dude. Oh, I love to hear that. That is awesome. Yep, huge Yeovil fans over here. We are ready to see them move up into the National League, then hopefully up into the EFL League 2 again. That'd be awesome. One more thing to mention in the soccer world, the UEFA Champions League. I don't know when this goes up, but there's a round of UEFA Champions League games going on. Some of the best soccer in the world to watch right there. And that's happening today. If this goes up in time, go check, might still be, but it might take a little too long to upload or something. And oh, well, and the next round of games for the Champions League won't be till November 7th and 8th. So if you can watch the ones today, go watch them.
Yeah, I did want to say one thing. They've played half of the teams have played 3 games. The other half of the games are today. Manchester United is in 3rd place in Group A behind Bayern Munich and Galatasaray. Manchester United, one of the richest teams in the world, has been underperforming in Champions League against, you have Galatasaray, who's a Turkish club. I think people want a lot more from Manchester United. We'll see if they can figure it out. Arsenal won. They are first in Group B over Lens, Sevilla, and PSV. And then if you're interested in American players, Christian Pulisic plays for Milan, and they play today against PSG, which is a huge game. And then if anybody's interested in kind of underdogs, not really underdogs, but not big club names, is Newcastle United out of the English Premier League. They're in first and they have PSG and AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund in that group. Big time group right there. And they play today as well versus Dortmund. So those are kind of the big games today in Group B. And then, of course, you have Manchester City, which I don't like, but they're very good. I get it. I like Holland. He's a stud. So anyways, if you're interested at all in soccer, those are your big games to pay attention to. There weren't really any big upsets, I should say, that we could talk about, but fun soccer. Look, if you're not into soccer, I hate to say it, you got to catch up with the rest of the world, man. This is fun stuff. Look, we are big college football fans. I'm a big basketball guy, but soccer is up there, man. It's fun.
Soccer's a great game. It's super fun to watch, and the one thing I'll warn you about is if you just try and jump into soccer, it's going to be you're not going to understand it all the way. It's not going to be as fun to watch, but you watch a little bit more of it, you understand it. Once you understand the game, it's super fun to watch. Yeah, play FIFA. That's a great advice.
All right, let's get out of here, Josiah. Thank you, guys. Actually, sorry, question of the day. Leave in the comment section. What is the best quote from a sports movie? Best quote from a sports movie. Leave in the comment section below. Thank you guys for listening. This is West Nile Virus. Make sure you tell someone. Spread the virus. West Nile Virus. Stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless. See ya.
See ya.